Hello, all you big souls out there. I wanted to talk today a little bit about addiction, and I'm going to read out of the book first because Aralamb talks a lot about addiction in the book, but he does also talk about sort of what addiction is and that you always have power over this. And one of the reasons that we want to be talking to you about this today is because the energy that is on the planet right now is so ramped up. It's so over the top. And I talk with people in sessions and I understand that it's so ramped up. And so let me go ahead and just read this short piece to you out of the book in the a section on addictions. And then I will let Aralamb talk to you a little bit about the why he wanted to read this today with you. So this is Aralamb on addictions and the human soul. Addiction is at its most basic energetic system a decision, a choice. Humanity on your planet at this time is trying to abdicate the choice and free will aspects of addiction in order to classify addiction as something that a human is a victim of. Humanity is not a victim to any emotional, physical, psychological, or chemical addiction. Addiction is within the full use of a human's free will right to choose to direct the soul's energy fully into a practice which supports a constant negative outcome for the soul. Choice is at the base of all addictive behaviors, which are negative in nature. All addictive behaviors that the Creator God would deem as having a negative effect on the soul's forward progress are engaged in so that the soul avoids painful lesson experiences. By way of the addiction, the soul literally chases its tail for whole lifetimes in some cases in order to avoid the very lessons the soul came into the lifetime to experience. I am in no way negating the organic fact that a human body can and will become chemically dependent upon substances and behaviors. I am stating, however, that this fact does not negate the all powerful tool of choice. Positive free will rendered consistently over time will, without fail, kill and eradicate any and all negative addictions and compulsions. This rule is in place concerning chemical, physical, psychological, compulsive, and all other addictive behaviors which become negative to the soul and its growth during the lifetime. Melissa listed above a large group of substances, activities, and behaviors which can become addictive to the body and mind of a human. There are an uncountable number of activities which can become addictive to humans within the creation. Any substance, activity, or emotional stance can become negative when and if that activity is repeated and is given importance to the mind and the soul above all else within the lifetime. Now, forgive me as well, I didn't have my reading glasses on. The reason that Aralamb wanted me to read that piece to you is because some of you that are listening, we've had one on one sessions. Some of you will be new to the channel. But addiction right now is ramping up for so many souls. And it doesn't just have to be addiction to alcohol or drugs, it can be food. In the book, I write about the fact that I have difficulties around food because for me, the addictive nature of sugary food is very comforting. So if I'm listening to the news or I'm spending too much time on my phone or I'm not staying kind of in my middle ground in that calm, safe space that every one of us has, I'll want to eat too much. I'll want to go to sugar. Some people it's alcohol, it can be drugs, it can be shopping, it can be pornography, it can be a million different things. So, Aralamb wanted to talk just for a minute about why right now it's so important to have really a good handle on what addiction is and the idea that you can choose. And I know, if you're dealing with a horrific addiction right now, I understand that it can feel completely out of your control. But at the very, very, very bottom of that addiction is the idea that you can choose. Every second of every day, you can choose what you're going to do. Now, picking up that drink, smoking that cigarette, eating that donut, shooting up that heroin, whatever it is that has got you, at the end of the day, your soul, that piece of you which the addiction cannot touch and the addiction can never steal from you, is always capable. Your soul can always get up off its knees and decide, right? And oftentimes, when people talk about they hit rock bottom, they come to a place in their addiction where they hit rock bottom and they say, I was so low, I was at rock bottom, and I knew there was no place left to go lower. There was no place left to go any worse than the place that I was at. That voice that people hear at that point in their addiction, that is their very soul speaking to them. That is their soul, because your soul is incredibly powerful. Your soul is more powerful than anything else. Your soul is more powerful than the voice in your head that continues with that addiction, right? And so it's so important right now because what's happening on the planet, actually, Aralamb's hand is up. So Aralamb would like to speak about this. So Aralamb's hand is up. Beautiful listeners, I'm thrilled to be here with you today. Let me say this to you. The energy on planet Earth right now feels less safe no matter where you are on the globe. Feels less safe than it has in many, many hundreds of years. The reason for this is that the shift up is happening. Now, because of that, many souls, many of you who are listening to this, may be newly getting into addictive behavior because the stress of the energetic shift that is happening can be overwhelming. You've got to stay in the center of your own energy, okay? I also know, still Aralamb speaking, I also know that if you have an addiction, whether it's a chemical addiction, an emotional addiction, a physiological addiction, a behavior addiction, whatever that addiction is, you go to that place to get calmness. You go to that addictive substance or behavior to feel safe. But let me tell you, this is a time, if you ever had a time in your life, if there was ever a historical time on planet Earth to look at those addictions and start to put them down, now is the time. Because your soul, just like the planet's energy, your soul's energy is asking you, and many of you, this will resonate with you because you feel this every single day. You feel pushed to clean yourself up. You feel pushed to leave those negative relationships. You feel pushed to forgive people and move to a better place. This is your soul pushing you to let go of the negativity, and all of these addictions are those negative places for you. Again, still Aralamb speaking. This is a choice. I am not negating the difficulty of the physical addictions that alcohol and drugs can have in your world, or food for that matter, as Melissa says. But here's the issue for everyone listening. Now is the time. Now is the time to allow your soul to get up off its knees and take control with these addictions. Listen to that inner voice. Talk to those who can help you. Don't live alone with this anymore. Don't live alone with it. Because where the earth is going energetically and where your soul wants you to go energetically is a much cleaner, safer, higher way of being. Secondarily, I will say this to you. Stop letting negativity into your world, whether it's the programming that you're watching, whether it's the people that you're around. If you are trying to give up an addiction, you must lay down those relationships that support the addiction. All of these things are simple, but when you start to filter this information through what your soul needs, because here's the other thing. No addiction, still Aralamb speaking. No addiction, no chemical, no person, no relationship, no negative behavior can separate you from your soul or separate your soul from your connection to the Creator God. So even in your darkest moments, even in those moments when you think, I am so addicted, I've had so much alcohol, I've had so much chemical in my body, I've been in this relationship for so long, I'm addicted to these behaviors, my soul is dead and gone. That is not true. Still Aralamb speaking. That is unequivocally an untruth. Your soul can never be disconnected from you, and your soul can never be disconnected from the creation. And so, in that way, you always have the power to choose. You always have the power to choose. And depending on your addiction, you might have to choose every 3 minutes for a while. In the first days when you're breaking addiction, you might literally have to choose the right decision around that addiction every 3 minutes. But the times will get larger. You'll have to choose less. It will become a habit. And I guarantee you, still Aralamb speaking, if you can let your soul lead you, let your soul speak in this matter. It is a choice. You are not a victim and you are not powerless. I wanted to come forward and let anyone who could hear this hear this. Thank you. So this is Melissa speaking. One of the reasons why Aralamb wanted to talk about this today is because for those of you who are listening, who have had many, many years of sobriety or many, many years that you've given up certain activities, whatever the addiction was, whether it was bad relationships, whatever it is, the energy on the planet right now is really pressing us all to need something that feels safe, to go back to those crutches, those energetic places of addiction, including me. I'm just like all of you, right? And so this is why Aralamb wanted to speak about this, because you've got to be vigilant about what's going on in your world, right? You don't want to look at the whole world and then have that stress, everything that's going on. You need to stay in relationship with those that you love, those that you can help, who can help you. And if you don't have those people, you need to start reaching out into your world to get those people. Okay? Because addiction is a choice. It is a choice every day, every 3 minutes, as Aralamb says. It's a choice. So thank you for listening today. Please, 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 please make comments, ask questions. And as I said, I just appreciate you all. But really, you're not a victim. You're not a victim of this. All right, you big, beautiful souls. All right. Thank you for listening.